Hello, and welcome to the Big Four. I'm Austin.
I missed that, boys. I'm Grayson.
I'm Jake.
I'm Ricky.
Those mics are low.
These mics are terrible.
Oh, I can hear us over the speakers. What's going on with this? You got some feedback somewhere?
Oh boy.
That's spicy over here.
You can tell we've been gone for a
Should be
while.
better. Yeah.
Hello?
Is that better?
All
This
right.
mic
Is that better? All right.
Yeah, it should be.
All right.
So
All
weird.
right.
It's been a really hot minute, like
Yeah, it's been a minute or
straight
two.
volcanic.
But we didn't miss much.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah,
I
we
feel
didn't miss
like
much.
I feel like I might have missed something.
Nah,
Are you sure?
no, we didn't miss much, man. It's still just sports, you know. It moves on. We had a nice vacation though, right?
I mean, some of us did.
See, I was kind of disappointed, and I'm just gonna jump right in. I was kind of disappointed. I thought we were gonna see some big money spending.
Oh,
And,
yeah, we're starting with baseball then.
Didn't happen.
It's gonna
Nope.
happen.
Didn't happen at all.
It's gonna happen.
It is eventually, but the cause of it is what I think is kind of interesting. Is just how the tone is shifting from throwing money at people to trying to replace them with minor leaguers.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that necessarily. I think it's more of an understanding where baseball is sort of actually trending towards the football model a little bit, where it's really hard to build a contender if you shovel X percentage of your salary cap into one player. Even with the soft cap in baseball, like it's still hard to really build a contender around that, especially if you're a smaller market team because you don't even have that much money to throw around in the first place.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that for the most part, but I still think it's just so strange though, because like the entire season, a narrative was like, okay, well here's your first $300 million man in Bryce Harper, and
Well,
yet
do you remember 2 years ago?
still doesn't have a team.
He was projected to be like the first $500 million.
Yeah, some of the numbers they
Well,
throw
yeah.
with prices and pending free agency were ridiculous.
Yeah, they're all. You
My
know,
brain was melting.
It's all just a precursor for Mike Trout in 2 years. But
Yeah,
if,
yeah, that's-
if we're being
that-
honest.
That'll be the big money.
That is actually
For
that
sure.
literally the
Big money.
is that the biggest sports free agency since LeBron James in 2010.
That'll probably be bigger.
I don't
I
think
don't know,
so.
man. Kirk Cousins free agency.
It might be bigger for obviously a monetary standpoint, but for the attention,
Oh, there we are.
people would pay more attention to LeBron James than to Mike Trout.
It's true.
Not everyone even knows who Mike Trout is. He's the best player in baseball.
And it's not close.
The
actually.
notoriety just isn't the same.
Yeah, exactly. He's not going to get an ESPN special.
There it is.
Yeah, I was waiting
Now
for
we
that.
Mike
Yeah.
Trout, the
We
decision.
need that
Yeah,
sponsorship money,
yeah,
please,
yeah.
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
Pepsi product. We're still staying true to our roots.
But yeah, no, I agree. Like, I can understand kind of why Machado's not getting the money.
I mean, a little
you know,
bit, yeah, because
he's kind of a he's kind of a dickhead.
questionable character.
So
Can't say that.
well, we'll bleep it out.
Wait, so Mr. On-Air Under Director, do you have to take yourself off the show for 2 weeks?
No, I'll pay a fine.
Okay.
I'll pay a fine.
Is that
We
an
need a jar.
option for the
That's
rest
also,
of us?
That's also how they're not.
I'll pay a fine. Pay somebody's dues or something.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. I stand by it. He's not the best person.
Yeah, no, he's got some questionable characters.
I'm just excited he's not going to sign with the Yankees,
The
despite
thing
what
is-
all Yankee fan pages think.
This also kind of puts a halt on free agency. We've seen people sign, and we've obviously seen trades, but we haven't seen any other, I guess, if they're tier 1, tier 2 guys.
Well, we saw Pollock
Sign.
today,
And
Yeah.
Pollock signed today, which was
but even that's been a
big,
wait. Even that's been a long time
But it was
coming.
January 24th.
Right. You know, it's very frustrating to kind of be a baseball fan right now because there's just so much anticipation for when it happens, but it hasn't.
Also,
Is the
Bryce,
spring league starting soon?
Well, pitchers and catchers report mid-February.
February 14th.
Yeah.
Most cases.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
So
So, yeah, I mean, the biggest news probably is when you think of like the trades that have happened. We obviously had the Reds and the Dodgers.
Yep.
That trade.
Yeah.
Yep, bringing Yasiel to
bizarre-
Cincinnati.
Yasiel Puig,
Bizarre
Matt
free
Kemp,
trade.
Alex
Yep.
Wood
Yep.
to Cincinnati.
It's a
We
good trade
saw
for
the
them.
trade that sent Paul Goldschmidt to St.
To
Louis.
St. Louis
Yeah.
for Luke Weaver.
And like you said, we saw Pollock sign. We saw James Paxton.
Yeah, the Paxton
sign
trade.
with the Yankees.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite offseason moment so far.
Well, he's been fantastic.
It seems like-
even more so than your boy Patty Corbin.
Yeah. I love
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it was just good to see him go somewhere that. Like,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
was
So,
good.
so
like a real
in terms
organization?
of seeing
Yeah.
him succeed, yeah, I thought you would say more Corbin because he's joining your actual
Oh no,
team.
that was more fun for me.
Right.
But I don't think it was my favorite offseason moment. I think
And,
there's a difference.
We
Fair
saw LeMahieu.
Yeah,
uh,
Mayhew's a
sign, and
Yankee
it
now.
seems like-
Also, Tulo.
And Tulowitzki's a Yankee now.
It seems like last year Josh Donaldson
Yeah.
signed
Yeah,
with the
That's
Braves.
true. I forgot about. I actually
Yeah,
forgot
Which
about
is
that long
really
ago.
funny. I was telling Jake I think last week, like the MLB.com has a list of all the teams and their off-season transactions, and a lot of teams have a lot of stuff, whether it be trades, signings, because it has minor league stuff too.
Yeah.
And then you look at the Braves, and it's like 2 lines. I guess now 3. Sign Josh Donaldson, sign Brian McCann. I guess now sign Markakis, and then
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
They haven't done anything,
That's
basically, other than Markakis since the McCann signing. I mean, which is fine, I guess. Don't waste your money. Get Keuchel, get Realmuto. I'm still waiting.
Yeah,
It'll happen.
keep
Yeah.
waiting, by the way.
So you want to carry this in a conversation about who I guess has won the offseason so far?
Well,
No,
actually, I want to do
don't
some.
think we can do that, so.
Let me do.
Yeah, I mean,
let
so
me do
obviously
a
the
let me do a
Bryce-
prediction.
I think the
real
Bryce
quick.
Machado signings are the biggest shifters for it.
So yeah, I always.
I think it's a 2-horse race between the Nats and the Yankees, and Bryce Harper determines.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So in regards to who has the best offseason so far, I agree that probably I would say the Yankees would be in front runner right now.
Right now, yeah.
I think yeah.
I think the Nationals are up there. I think St. Louis is up there, and the Braves are probably an honorable mention right now. However, we were doing the math last week. If Philadelphia signs Bryce Harper, they're the number one. Like they would pole vault all of us.
Well, no.
Because they would have brought in David Robertson, Andrew McCutchen, Gene Segura, and Bryce Harper.
But they haven't found that pitcher.
Yeah, they haven't found that pitcher, but
that's
they
a
can
big deal.
still get one. I mean, they have
I mean-
Aaron Nola.
And Jake Arrieta.
And
Yeah,
Arrieta.
but it's a similar conversation. If they get Bryce Harper and then get the pitcher, yeah, they win. But if they just get Bryce Harper, no, they don't. At least that's the way I see it.
I think that's,
I think
that's an interesting notion. too.
That's a very contingent point. They need that guy.
They do need a
Yeah.
pitcher. I mean, they need that guy. They need that Doc Holliday.
If they want to contend for that division,
Is
that's
Nola
what
not
they need.
that?
Nola did
That's
finish third in
exactly
the
what
Cy Young
So-
Award last year.
Exactly.
So there are still some skeptics out of Aaron Nola. I do enjoy him, but right now they're too deep. They're too deep at a starting pitcher caliber for a World Series contender. So they need to bring in that third guy. I don't know where they're going to find him. I'm sure that there are guys out there. I just can't think of any right now. But
Yeah, because Keuchel's basically a Brave already, so he's out of the question.
you know, good luck with that.
But I don't even know what to believe in now, because we saw the reports that the White Sox offered Machado, and then his agent came out and said that's completely false. So I don't even know what to believe, whether who's like their front runner. Obviously, the Nationals, I think, have a good shot at re-signing Bryce.
Yeah.
I think they're in front right now.
The White Sox still have a lot of money to work with. The Padres still have something. The Phillies still have a lot of money to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know what to believe right now.
And actually, it kind of segues into my predictions thing. I read a report yesterday, or not the day before, from I believe John Heyman, and it says that San Diego has emerged as the mystery team, or emerged as being in on both Machado and Bryce Harper.
I don't think that's true at all.
Really?
No.
I mean, that's the report that I read. I
They're
could be
not a very
wrong.
splashy organization at all.
Well, they splashed once, and it did not work out at all.
Yeah, shut up, Bud Black.
But
He got his money.
yeah.
in Colorado.
However,
He got his money.
But I can see it happen though. Like I was telling Chris earlier, I was saying they have a hole at shortstop. It would make sense to me. He's a fit there.
Yeah.
Since they haven't re-signed Freddie Galvez, it just makes sense to me on the outside. They were saying to be an early onset favorite for Bryce going into the offseason. So it was just kind of like it was more so, do they want to spend the money this offseason or hold it till next year? And frankly, if you can get Machado for 300, not less than 310, less than 325, why not?
So you're thinking like an 8-year, $300 million deal?
Yeah.
He's so not worth that.
Well, you know, it is what it is. He's Manny Machado, man. Like he's a potential Triple Crown guy. Until the season actually goes through, however. But like going into the year, he's a batting average guy. He gets on base. His power numbers are a bit skewed sometimes.
He gets an unreal amount of doubles.
Yeah, and granted, he doesn't really hit for average. He does strike out a little bit more than I'd like him to. However, he has the versatility to play both third and shortstop. So, and since they have the whole
And
short, it makes
play
sense to me.
well.
Right, and play at an all-star caliber level. It just makes sense to me that they'd go after him. Bryce Harper, I think that's a little bit more fantasy booking, but I also think Bryce Harper is going to the Phillies still anyway.
Really?
Since Pollock signed with LA, I think that's probably the clear cut from what I've
You don't think the Nats have a chance?
I think the Nats have a chance too, but
I mean,
I think that those two other teams have had a better chance.
I don't think it's explicitly a money thing for Bryce either. I think Bryce wants his money, but he's so beloved in that city, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, fair enough.
He really, really is.
The team composition of Washington right now, right? When you have your deadly Cerebus for a pitching rotation right now, and then still on top of that you have Joe Ross, and you could still potentially bring back Gio Gonzalez if you wanted to, but you have a great
I wouldn't be opposed.
You have a great bullpen, or at least an average bullpen, definitely top 15 bullpen.
Great back end of the bullpen.
Yeah,
With
you have Doolittle, and then
champ. He's also got one of the best baseball Twitters out there.
you signed Brian Dozier.
Fact.
You signed Brian Dozier. You
That
have
was great.
Suzuki.
You have Kurt Suzuki now.
And
You
Yan
also
Gomez.
you brought in
Yeah.
Yan
And you
Gomes.
still have a ton of young talent.
That's a
coming out.
hell of an offseason.
Right.
And Robles is about to play a full season if Bryce Harper doesn't
Yeah,
play.
exactly.
Crazy.
And so
still
I'm
bring back
thinking to myself,
Marcelo.
I'm like, you guys really can't take a step back.
Me
You
too.
can only move forward.
And you re-signed Trey Turner.
However,
Or
if you
no,
do,
agreed to an extension on Trey Turner. It
if
was,
you do
the
bring back,
fourth-year option, fifth-year option. Sorry.
but no, you're fine. But if they do bring back Bryce Harper to that team, yeah, Robles gets pushed to the back burner again.
No, he doesn't.
Where does he go?
Playing in left.
Is he gonna play over Eaton?
Eaton's getting traded. If
You think
Bryce
so?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that seems to be the consensus among professional sports writers who are covering the Nats beats, and fans think that too. It's a twofer. Pretty much everyone thinks that Adam has to be treated, probably below value too. But that's still worth it.
It's also
If you
sometimes-
can have Soto and Robles
Right.
because he's too good for a number 4 spot. Michael Taylor is perfect for a 4 spot.
Right, and that's what I was telling Ricky is that you can have his versatility as a base runner,
Oh, it's so beautiful.
as well as the versatility so he can play all 3 outfield spots.
Yeah.
So
And the only thing he lacks is offensive upside, and he really
Right.
lacks it. But
that grand
aside-
slam,
yeah,
though.
I mean, no, I love him forever. That was one of my favorite sports moments I've seen live, and I was watching it muted. It sucked.
But yeah, no, like I think that thought has me like salivating at the fact that that's a possibility still. I just think that the Phillies are just gonna throw an obscene amount of money at him. I think that because I think Ruben Amaro is just gonna be like, well, I promised the Philly fans this, so you have to provide.
Also, Matt Adams. I forgot about Matt Adams. They brought him back. The goat.
And I do
never know.
think it's a lot about money with Price. I know you said you didn't,
I
but I
think-
think it is.
I
Yeah.
think, no.
I think he
never
wants to
said
be
that.
the highest paid player in baseball.
I think it's a lot about money. I don't
Right.
think it's all about money.
No, I think he also thinks to himself, like, all right, what move do I make to better my career? Like, I think he would rather win a championship, personally, because that would put him in the conversation again as one of the best players in baseball again. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's still one of the most talented players in the league, but he's fallen out of that conversation behind guys like Nolan Arenado and Mookie Betts and Mike Trout, just because he just doesn't. He can't stay healthy, one,
Yeah,
and
that's a-
two.
Can you imagine what it's going to be like if Mike Trout wins a World Series?
Oh, I know, especially if he does it before Bryce Harper.
Because like right now, the Angels aren't really good, and
No,
he's still
no.
like far and away the best player in baseball,
Yeah,
and people
exactly.
view him as the best player in
He's-
baseball.
He's
Mhm.
yeah. It's
And it's not even a debate.
Yeah,
Right,
It's
right.
really not close. Mookie's fantastic, but it's not.
No.
You're
Not even a
solid-
conversation.
You're a solid number 2.
Anyone
It's
who
kind of
wants to make
unfortunate.
it a conversation is
Yeah,
yanking your chain.
they're just biased.
His WAR is ridiculous. You know,
Right.
yeah. It's hard to stress that to not.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. Aaron Judge is obviously the
Mike
best.
Trout's worst season since joining
All right.
the majors was
You
in
wanna
2012, and he
go
had,
off of,
6 WAR or something, if
oh,
I remember correctly.
Look, mention the Hall of Fame because I'm sure you've
So-
got something empowered to say.
Well, it's no secret that my favorite baseball player of all time is Mariano Rivera, and he has achieved a feat that no one else has ever achieved, and that's a complete 100% out of over 400 votes for the Hall of Fame.
445.
No,
Exactly.
451.
Oh, sorry, 451.
So 451,
Thank you.
451 men and women voted for Mariano Rivera to go into the Hall of Fame.
Didn't one guy
First year.
just vote for Mariano Rivera?
I believe it.
I think I saw
I'd really believe it.
where some guy's ballot just had a vote for Mariano
Oh, I
Rivera.
bet
Could
there
you-
are
yeah,
those
I know.
deluded there are deluded voters all the time that just don't
Which-
abuse it. Like even Greg Cody on Dan Levitard, he only voted for 9 players. You get 10 votes. So even if you're eligible, it doesn't necessarily mean you're getting votes. Like it's very frustrating.
I didn't realize how prestigious it was to
Oh,
be
yeah.
unanimous
Mhm.
until I realized it was 400.
Well, I just hope that this will kind of stop the stigma of people saying he's going to get in anyway, might as well not vote for him. That's why
Exactly.
Ken Griffey got 99.3. That's why Chipper Jones was 97%.
Well, here's the best part, right? Is that there's a potential that we're gonna have 2 unanimous players in a row, with this year being
And
Mariano
Jeter
Rivera
next
and
year.
Jeter next year.
Oh, yeah. 2 Yankees too.
Could you imagine,
Jeter,
like-
Jeter needs to be unanimous.
in the Big Four, I mean, the Big Four for the Yankees, like that is crazy that two of them. And if that's like a dream, obviously, for a Yankee fan. But as a baseball purist, like it makes sense as to why both of those men are unanimous.
Yeah.
They're both so dominant, so talented.
I also think it's a
crazy.
better trend for the baseball writers that they actually are getting unanimous votes now. 'Cause
Right.
I think the voting process is it's improving. We're not getting some of the really garbage like politics that have
Right.
kept people out in the past or put other people in the past.
I was kind of surprised at what's his name getting in.
Messina.
Yeah, at Mussina getting in. But then I ran the numbers. I didn't realize he played almost 20 seasons.
Yeah.
And I also didn't realize how good he was with Baltimore.
Yeah.
I think the really market thing about Messina was how good he was for those 20 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he was a very consistent guy.
Yeah.
Like, rarely did he go under 4 on his ERA. Like, he's a Hall of Famer. Like, his numbers say Hall of Fame. Same thing with Doc Holliday. Like, on glance, I can remember Doc Holliday as being the most dominant pitcher in baseball, or one of the most dominant pitchers in baseball. And, especially after he went to Philly.
Yeah.
But to see that and it sucks that he's not alive to see him get in.
Yeah, that's really.
Rip Roy, but like, it's really interesting just how much like you can forget about a player and then you go back look at their numbers and you're like, wow, this is fantastic. And I wish that there were a lot of people out there that would do the same thing with guys like Barry Bonds.
And baseball is just great for that kind of a thing. Like remembering, it's a great sport to remember players from the past.
Yeah,
Stack them up against.
it's a sport that really promotes nostalgia.
I do that with players who don't get voted in. I'll go back and look at the ballot and see what the percents are. And
Like Todd Helton and
like I did that with Andrew Jones this go around.
Interesting.
I was looking at him and I was like, and I go on Baseball Reference and like remember people have talked about him and I was like, wow, he struck out a lot, but he was like really good his first 10 years.
Beast.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things about Andrew Jones, he had 10 gold gloves.
10 gold gloves,
like
that.
5-time All-Star.
Playing center field
I
too.
was gonna say, yeah, he plays center.
I think the only two outfielders that have more gold gloves are Willie Mays and Clemente.
Wow.
Compared to Andrew Jones.
Who are they?
7.5% of the vote.
7.5% of the vote.
Holy crap.
It's not his first year, I don't think.
Oh, no,
This
that's
is
right.
his
That's
second
my
year.
bad. My bad.
Baseball's really good. Look at the past stats wise. It's a very good sport for that. And I just want to take a second to appreciate that. 'Cause I was having a conversation about this, like how, like for soccer, you can't do that.
No.
It's all hypothetical conversation. None of it matters. But with baseball, basketball, you can
Because
look at
everything's documented.
Yeah.
And like this
And
is
you're
how
like,
good
this is
player
good.
was.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah, I
with
just-
improvements in stat.
To end it, like I said, I'm
Casting
just
and stuff
glad
like
that
that.
hopefully the voting stigma's over. Because, like, imagine, there were people a long time, like, 84 years ago, whatever, who voted Babe Ruth not a Hall of Famer. Like, can you imagine?
Oh, I know,
Sitting
right?
there, Babe Ruth's not a Hall of Famer.
No, not this year. Maybe next year.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
I-
someone
imagine
said
being that guy.
Ken Griffey Jr. is not a Hall of Famer. Someone actually voted not for Ken Griffey Jr.
Right.
So
Votes for
hopefully
somebody
moving
else.
forward,
the worst.
people will get what they would deserve.
All right, do you want to let's move on because we've been talking about this for too long.
Let's talk about football. Let's
Sure.
talk about
We
how.
have to?
Let's talk about officiating in the NFL.
Oh my god.
Let's open up the can of worms now.
We're really just going straight into
I just
the
wanna
worst
start
topic we could
saying-
possibly choose.
I don't think PI should be reviewable.
You don't
What?
think it should be reviewable? Wow.
I'm really sorry for that.
You
Pete,
defend it, defend it.
for Nick Wright made a really good point for this.
We do stand Nick right on the show.
Think about if penalties are going to be reviewable, every big play is going to be reviewable.
Right.
Imagine, like, especially in a big game, like a halftime Hail Mary or like a go-ahead drive, every play is going to be reviewable, because maybe the coach who holds Sean McVay off the field saw something out of the corner of his eye and says, "I think you should review that. I think that might have been PI."
He has a name.
Yeah, but
I don't know it, but he does have it.
Let's just call him
So,
Gary
I mean,
for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
it sucks that that call was blown in the Saints game.
It's true.
But I mean, if you make penalties reviewable, that's just gonna slow the game down so
Yeah.
It's a-
much.
That's a fair argument.
Think,
You know where-
think about every play that's gonna get reviewed, because
Right.
maybe someone thinks he saw something.
I don't
You know where pass interference is reviewable?
under 2 minutes.
Oh, CFL.
Is it CFL?
Yeah, it's Canadian Football League.
Oh boy.
Grey
This
Cup.
guy.
It's the second oldest trophy in America, sports trophy in America. That's a fact.
Interesting.
Canadians have both of them.
Lord,
Stan-
Lord Stanley,
Stanley's being
and
number
then-
one. Yeah.
This guy over here.
Yeah.
Is
So as
killing it
much
right
as-
Staying in Canada right now.
As much as people think now, especially Saints fans, I'm sure they want that call to be reviewable.
Of course. of
But
course.
just
It's a reactionary conversation.
yeah, exactly. Don't overreact.
Right.
I mean,
It's a blown call, but it is an issue that the NFL really needs to address, in the fact that their referees are pretty incompetent in big spots.
Yeah, I mean, I can maybe see a compromise where
And it sucks that you can't review under
it
2
can
minutes.
be reviewed maybe up top or in New York, but I don't want to see a coach's challenge for a PI. So maybe they can come to some sort of agreement. But I was also listening to
in the CFL, when there's a penalty, they throw out a red flag, and then when there's a challenge, they throw out a yellow flag.
But we do it in the inverse for I don't know why.
They did it first.
But yeah, I was listening to Colin Cowherd, and he was talking about how like you shouldn't overreact. The example that he gave that I liked a lot was the MLB All-Star Game had a tie, and right after that, then they made it so where whoever won the All-Star Game gets home field advantage in the World Series.
I believe it was 1983.
So it's like, don't overreact to this. Yeah, it was a blown call.
That was fun.
It needed some stipulation.
It's fun,
that's
but like
thing.
the best team in baseball should get home field advantage.
Yeah.
You should go to record, you're saying? Like they do in the
Can
NFL?
we stop talking about baseball.
No, they do now.
Sorry.
They do
Yeah,
now.
that's what they do now.
Yeah.
They don't do the
It's
balls. Yeah.
Right.
So
I like it.
but yeah, don't overreact. Saints fans are bitter now.
They're bitter now. They'll get over it eventually, especially next year when they're just as good as they are this year.
I just think that
telling
would
you.
slow
I
the
mean,
game
listen,
down.
They're getting Des Bryant next year.
I hope-
They're going to be
listen,
Who are they
so
losing?
good.
I'd hope the Drew Brees is getting older and their defense might degrade a little bit.
Degrade. They're so young.
They're
I
young,
know, but
though.
man, regression. That's a real
Taysom
thing.
Hill's going to take over, dude.
Regression's a real
Taysom Hill's the
thing,
best
man.
player on the team.
Regression's a real thing.
He's the best athlete.
I'm just saying.
Debatable.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're a little bit worse next year, and maybe that's enough for them to make the.
I don't know.
I think
At most they lose Mark Ingram, but I don't know.
Anyway, I think the biggest thing
Yeah.
about the reviewing penalties is it's an entirely separate band-aid for a very big
I agree.
structural problem, which is your officiating as a whole is really lacking.
And that's the point
And-
that I wanted to get across. Is just like out of all officiating in sports, like the NBA players obviously hate NBA referees, but
God, yeah.
NFL referees are a whole other level of borderline of just incompetence. It's not
Yeah, I
even-
mean, just think of any sport though. If fouls, I mean, obviously in the NBA we see like reviewing if it's like a technical flagrant 1, flagrant 2. But like if someone drives, that can be like, can you review that? I think he fouled me.
yeah,
Like that, I think that would just the game flow.
right.
That would eliminate the really exciting
No, I
plays.
agree. I agree to that. It makes it less
Because
watchable.
there's pass interference on every single Hail Mary in like the history of the NFL
Well,
games.
I believe it was either Strahan or Jeff Saturday that once said like, "There's holding on every single
Yeah.
play."
Yeah.
There's
There's
holding
gonna
on
be-
every single.
There's
NFL
how
play.
many missed face calls, like face mask
Yeah, I mean,
calls.
I will
They
say
didn't
this
call against Jared
though.
Goff,
Chris,
like, I'm-
Chris Jones did not rough the pass.
No, he hit his
He hit his chest. He hit him right in the number.
Yeah, I mean he was pretty close to his like cappuccino holding arm. You can't mess that up.
How's he gonna cup his son's face as he goes in for a smooch if Chris Jones is right there? Such a bum. Like all of it. Like what? Like, I was watching. I was like, dude, this is getting ridiculous.
All right, it sounds like it's time to talk about the Super Bowl.
NFL refs
No, we
finalist.
don't want me to-
No, not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet. I want to talk about how. I want to talk to Grayson specifically about this debate that we were having earlier about Nick Foles, Carson Wentz, who's the starting quarterback this year.
Carson
Yeah,
Wentz.
Ricky, you and I have to tag out for this one because we got to hear this.
But why?
I'm gonna say choose wisely, Grayson.
Don't you? It's kind of like the same conversation we were having about Fitzpatrick and Winston. Wouldn't you go with the hot hand? You guys were a play away from beating.
Yeah,
the New
and no,
Orleans
we
Saints.
were. We were a play that should have been made away
Right.
from beating
Right.
the
And
Saints.
that wasn't even Nick Foles'
Yeah,
fault.
that was a play that Alshon should have made. But I look at it as Wentz is the obviously more talented quarterback. I don't think anyone's going to argue that Nick Foles is more talented. Like from a pure football standpoint, Nick Foles is not more talented than Carson Wentz. I think Doug Peterson coaches better with Nick Foles in the offense. I think he runs it a little more carefully. He does the RPOs. He caters to his strengths. I think with Wentz in, Peterson coaches a little more loosely, gives Wentz a lot more freedom. And Wentz is also young. And
It's
he
true.
plays like a young quarterback.
It's true. He makes those same mistakes.
I mean, I remember even when Nick Foles was young, like back in 2012
with Chip.
with Chip Kelly, he's never been as athletic as Carson Wentz is, but he was slinging the ball down the field.
I remember he's slinging it all over.
So I think Wentz, he's young, he plays young, but he's a generational talent.
Yeah, I think that I actually agree with you to this point, and that's that Carson Wentz being traded really sounds weird to me for a Nick Foles. Now, Nick Foles leaving the Eagles, not so much, because he's done it before. We were talking about this earlier with Mello, and Mello was saying that there were reports about him being kind of a diva, talking about Carson Wentz being kind of a diva in the locker room, and how the locker room stands more behind Nick Foles. And I wonder if that's the actual case, being that we don't know. But if that's the actual
I don't think
case,
that's true. I mean, granted, I might be biased because I'm an Eagles fan. I love Carson Wentz,
Right.
but I think that team loves him too.
right?
I think that, I mean, just from the way they play and the way they act on the field, that locker room is more behind Nick Foles, but I wouldn't say Carson Wentz is a diva. That seems like a jump.
Maybe diva's
I
a
mean,
tough
whoever
word.
came out that report, they said a unanimous player that said Carson Wentz was so unselfish and basically bashed the guy. Basically, it sounded like they hated the guy.
For not being selfish.
Yeah, for taking the back seat and not
First
saying
of
a
all,
word during
that's dumb.
the season that he made.
Yeah, that's really.
That is actually.
So I don't
That
believe that
actually sounds
report. I
dumb.
don't remember who it was, but it's someone who was slashed Carson Wentz before.
Fair enough.
But I mean, granted, if Jameis Winston was my other option, okay, yeah, start Nick Foles.
You're right.
But Carson Wentz is my MVP candidate. Carson Wentz
Yeah.
is my other option.
And that's what Austin referenced
Yeah,
in
and
the
Melo shot me
conversation.
down.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
is
yeah.
Stupid.
yeah.
He was like, he didn't win in the Super Bowl, and I was like, yeah, but he got them there.
Right, because during up until week 13, and he was the clear-cut MVP of the league, and it wasn't even close.
Yeah, so if it was
he was
Jameis
killing
Winston, yeah, I'd pick Nick Foles. But if it's Carson Wentz, I'm sticking with Carson Wentz.
Fair enough.
I just think he needs to develop. I think
Yeah, no, I agree. He's
Peterson
gotta
needs to
get
coach him
healthy.
like he coached him the beginning of last year.
Right.
He needs to call those RPOs.
They
He
need,
needs
they
to.
need a running back.
Yeah, I mean, Ajayi just
Not
getting hurt.
Ajayi, though.
I know they need a better running
You
back,
need
but
like Mark Ingram.
he would help.
Mark
A
Ingram
healthy
is
Ajayi would help.
Mark Ingram would be a really good
Oh,
Philadelphia
he
fit.
gets to team up with Darren Sproles again.
Yeah, so that'd be
Now,
cool.
Nick Foles will always have a special place in my heart.
Of course.
Build the man a statue. If I ever see him in Philly, I'm buying him a beer.
I think that's everybody.
Hopefully, he'll buy
Yeah.
me one too.
That'd be
Since
cool.
I'm 20.
Since, yeah.
I'll just give him the money that
You'll
he can go
Venmo
get
him.
it.
Yeah, you'll Venmo him back here.
Yeah, I love Nick Foles to death. The city of Philadelphia loves Nick Foles, but Carson's the guy. We drafted him. We traded up a reason. to get Carson Wentz.
Exactly, yeah. Fair enough. So, another thing that I want to talk about in terms of the Super Bowl is during the NFC Championship game, Todd Gurley drops 2 passes and then sits out the majority of the game. He only had 8 carries,
Yeah,
and C.J. Anderson took over.
Mhm.
So my question to you is, if you are Sean McVay and you want to kind of try to psych out Bill Belichick, do you start C.J. Anderson going into the Super Bowl?
Nope.
I'm just curious, actually.
Can you
since we're on
psych
this-
out Bill Belichick?
No.
See, yeah.
That's a fruitless exercise.
However-
If Sean McVay wants to psych him out, he won't use hair gel that day.
Fair enough. Or he won't have his handy-dandy tight ends coach behind him.
Yeah.
Everyone on the staff will wear jeans instead of khakis.
No, if he wants to psych out Bill Belichick, he run 2 consecutive plays, not an 11 personnel to start the game.
Ooh, that'd be kind of interesting. My thing, too, is, like, do we think that Todd Gurley's hurt? Like, why?
I don't know. Maybe he's just having a bad.
Is it a
game or
mental
two.
issue?
I don't know.
But I mean,
Well,
you
why,
can.
why can't he just be respecting that C.J. Anderson's on his hair?
See, that's my thing, is that I think that Todd
He's
Gurley...
a great guy.
I think that Todd Gurley was kind of struggling during the NFC Championship game, whether it was because of the defense, maybe because of the stage, I don't know. But he seemed to be in high spirits on the sideline. He wasn't down on himself
Because he's a
because
good
they
dude,
were
and he
doing
kn-
well.
And he knows he's one of the best running backs in the league. He may be not hot right now, but
And
he's
that's,
still
and
one
that's
of
what
the
I was
best.
trying to
He's
explain
playing.
to a buddy of mine earlier. I'm like, dude, he's Todd Gurley. He's an MVP candidate. It makes no sense as to why he's not involved in your offense. But I honestly think he's going to be a big player in the Super Bowl come that time. I think that Patriots defense is actually going to struggle containing him if he can get hot.
He's a very multidimensional running back. Is the biggest
And that's the
thing.
thing, is that when he is on, he is the best running back in football. When he's off, he's not necessarily the worst, and he's not even. There's arguments that he's not even out of the top 10. But the thing is, you have to get him going against the Patriots, especially with Jared Goff being the one throwing the ball. Because there were some passes in the NFC Championship game where I was like, Jared, why?
He also made some really good passes. in
That's
the
true,
championship
too.
game.
That's true, too.
That's the thing. It's his 3rd year in the league.
Well, yeah,
And-
that's the McVay difference, isn't it?
You mentioned
Something like
you
that,
didn't know
yeah.
if maybe it was like the stage for Gurley.
Yeah,
Anderson's
maybe.
been there before. He's won a Super Bowl.
Right, exactly, yeah. With Denver, I don't remember Todd Gurley ever being on this kind of stage before. Because I mean, the Rams were pretty mediocre until McVay got there.
When he
And
was at
even-
Georgia,
yeah,
that's
even
what
when
I
he was at Georgia, he wasn't like he was hurt. majority of the year. Remember, he got drafted in the draft. He was coming off an ACL injury, so because that was when Nick Chubb really took over there. So I don't know. I think that's a huge thing for them for the Rams to kind of figure out from within to help.
I think they're gonna have to. I mean, everyone talks about the easy formula to beat the Patriots. You know, run the ball, keep them off the field, yada yada yada. It's not easy to beat the Patriots.
Yeah,
No.
my ass.
However, like I will say this though, with that Rams D line, they can get pressure on that quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
I mean, they're gonna.
Especially with Aaron Donald in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Donald's a monster. It only took Eagles one play to win the Super Bowl on defensive line. But I think Anderson or Gurley, they're gonna have to have a big game because I don't trust Goff to win that game.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of saying with the passes and stuff. I trust Todd Gurley to win you a football game.
I trust Todd Gurley.
It's
I trust
very
C.J.
hard.
Anderson at this point, seeing what he's done, and he's been there before. I trust
Right.
that defense,
but Jared Goff's got to make these throws.
I don't trust Jared Goff,
Yeah, and I agree. I trust Brady,
So-
more
especially
so,
without
but-
like a Cooper Kupp.
right. Instead, he's trying to make Robert Woods into that Cooper Kupp role, and it's worked to an extent. However,
Who's their tight
there are
end?
better ones.
Jared Cook.
No,
No, he's
Jared
not
Cook's in
very good,
Oakland. It's
Ogle. No. It's a weird.
It's not Ogletree. I can't think of it on the top of my head. That's because I don't necessarily think they use a tight end that much.
Yeah, he's pretty good, man.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is it Kendricks?
He's like underrated. I remember
very
we were talking about it during the championship game.
You hear his name all the time because he's.
Oh,
like,
Higbee, Tyler
Yeah,
Higbee.
Oh, Tyler
Higbee's
Higbee.
like pretty decent.
Interesting.
I'm surprised they're actually all the way out on Jared Goff.
We're not
Actually,
out on him. We're skeptic on him.
So that's the
I
thing. It's like
I see
he's a
the
third-year
way in
quarterback.
which it happens. I'm not saying there's no chance they win. I'm not
Right.
saying there's no chance Jared Goff can win this game.
no.
I just
He
don't.
can
Tr-
step
I
up
don't
and do
trust
it.
him to go out there and win the
The
game
thing
with his
is,
arm.
all right. So in comparing both teams, you're gonna take the greatest quarterback of all time, or you're gonna take a third-year guy out of Cal?
yeah, I'm taking Tom Brady. My problem is that going against Belichick, you can't scheme like you're just going to beat him on the ground.
No, and I'm not saying that either. What I'm saying to you is that there are still, you have to be skeptic but you can hope that they address his throwing errors that he showed during
Yeah,
the
obviously.
game. However, like what we saw with Pat Mahomes took advantage of that number 27 the whole game. Like, it was pretty clear cut that secondary is not as strong as it used to be. They have Steph Gilmore, they have Pat Chung, they have the McCourty brothers,
Yeah.
but they're not the same players that they were. And I think that there is a reason to say and to bring up their weaknesses. I think it'd be kind of, I think it wouldn't be right to not say that it could be an issue. The problem is Jared Goff going to do the same thing that Pat Mahomes did and take advantage?
I mean, Jared Goff didn't have many issues covering the Chiefs defense on Monday night. That's the thing.
That's true.
We have seen a lot of success from Goff this year.
Right.
He's had a very good year overall.
Right.
We've seen very good and very bad from Jared Goff this
Yeah,
year.
but that's the thing is the very good way outweighs the very bad at this point.
I don't know. What about that stretch where he threw like 7 interceptions in, what was it, 2 or 3 games?
Yeah.
It was like 3 touchdowns to 7 or 8 picks. That was a pretty bad stretch for Goff.
You just gotta. It's just an interesting thing. We'll keep on with the narrative going in because the Super Bowl's not for a while anyway.
Yeah,
So
2 weeks.
yeah. I just
no
wanted
one
to
needs to
throw
make
that
picks.
out. I just wanted to throw that out there,
Yeah,
and just
we're
kind of
moving
like get
next
the
week.
thoughts of the room, see what we think. Another thing, and I think we should move on to. We can talk about some hockey. We can talk about the Caps. If you want.
One thing I do want to mention for NFL, we started with what do we want to see change with PI,
Yes.
but one thing I want to see change is the overtime rules.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
The last
agree.
point I had for that is with NFL overtime, Patrick Mahomes is on the bench the entire period.
Right,
The
he
guy
didn't
who
get a
threw
chance.
50 touchdowns this year, the probable MVP, the guy who already led a go-ahead drive late in the fourth,
Yeah, and he doesn't get to see the ball.
who doesn't see the ball at the end just
But
because the Chiefs defense can't
I was
stop
gonna
third
say,
and 10
I was gonna
like
say
3
the
times.
Chiefs defense let them convert on third down.
So it is
three
time
times in a row.
change the rules.
Well, that's not the reason college overtime works isn't because like it's more offense friendly.
But-
Both teams get the ball.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing.
Yeah, I mean, the NFL was. this is still a relatively new policy.
Didn't you get some
anyway.
sweet shootouts? What was it,
5 years.
Auburn, LSU? That was like
Yeah, Texas
7
A&M,
overtime or
LSU,
something
7
like that.
overtimes.
Well, and then we get Georgia Oklahoma, which was one of the best football games I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
It was a fantastic game.
So, I
watched
think-
Rose Bowl 2018.
I agree with you
It
on
took place in
that.
18.
I think that the argument of like, oh, the Chiefs defense
Oh,
could stop
January
them,
1st.
it's a valid argument, but I still believe that the opposing team should get a chance
Yeah.
Even if they score a touchdown, they should.
Absolutely.
The
Well,
offense should get a
just from a
chance.
viewership percentage.
After that point, if they want to do first person to score after that, that's fine.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
you should at least get a chance to rebut.
And that's the thing. Like, I want to see the best quarterback who played this year get a chance in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Is that too much to ask for?
No, it's not enough. Especially because what the NFL is all about making money.
Yeah.
How do you make money? You put classic football games out there. That's why that Monday night game is
You
the
put Patrick
greatest thing
Mahomes
we've
on
ever
the field
seen.
to
So you put Patrick
a chance
Mahomes
to go
on
to the Super
field.
Bowl.
You give Andy Reid a chance. That's the thing. Is like I think the Chiefs are gonna be back there next year. I think it's not.
Oh man, this is the start.
I think it's not. You know,
Yeah,
I tweeted this out. I said
this-
that the Chiefs train is just now leaving. the
If
This could be the start of something that lasts.
If y'all thought Philly last year was the start of something, I got bad news for you.
Yeah,
This Chiefs thing is even more legit because they weren't potentially propped up by a
and they're gonna
Well,
maybe
they're
overperforming.
gonna
you know,
they're gonna
like-
keep Eric Berry.
I
They can
can't
sign Earl Thomas.
I
this
can't stress
offseason.
how ridiculous it is that Patrick Mahomes threw 50 touchdowns this season. He was the third person to ever do it, and it was his first full season in the league.
But
That's
he's
absurd.
a system quarterback, dude.
Yeah, he's assistant
By
quarterback.
the way, his Week 17 start this year was
Yeah.
his 17th career game.
Yep.
He's basically a rookie.
He
Or
threw-
whatever.
he threw no
no,
touchdowns.
he's not a rookie. He sat behind Alex Smith. There's a lot to be said for that. I can't say that.
Yeah, he threw no touchdowns in his first start, so he averages just a hair under 3 touchdowns a game. For his
Oh, what a
career in
bum.
the regular
He
season.
deserves all the catch up that he's gonna get.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it is.
He's gotta make money.
He is. Yeah. His contract's up in 2 years.
That contract
He's
extension?
going to make so much
It's
money.
going to be so fat.
Like, forget Kirk Cousins.
And he has to resign with the Chiefs.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, that
I don't
franchise
think-
would never,
I don't
ever,
think he wants
ever.
to leave at this point.
Why
would
want-
you?
Yeah, right.
As long as
People love
Andy
it.
Reid's
Your
still there,
marriage with Andy
you're the
Reid was
guy.
like potentially the best since Brady Belichick, honestly.
Potentially. You never know. I think it's going to be fun. I said their train's really looking good right now.
Yeah.
The Rams are a really fun team, too. I was hoping to get a rematch in the Super Bowl.
That would've
I
been
was
really
I was
sick.
really hoping for that rematch, but of
So
course.
close.
Of course. The
Okay,
Patriots ruined everything fun.
let's-
I want to ask this to Austin real quick. I want to ask you, how do you gonna fix the Caps, man? Those darn Islanders.
It's not a fixed thing.
Fix
it's
them.
like, well, the All-Star game will help. And then I think the other thing that really needs to happen is Juice needs to come back. He's a pivotal part of that defense, and they really miss him. Him and whoever is on that third line. with
Yeah,
him,
they've
they
been
did really
hanging
well.
Holtby out to dry on some of these
Yeah,
games.
it hasn't been Holtby's fault at all.
They've been
It's
hanging him out to dry.
So I think he needs to come back, and which he will after the All-Star break. Also, the All-Star break is going to really help. And then I don't think a trade needs to happen, but I don't think it would hurt at the same time.
So,
Burakovsky.
can you confirm or deny to young Rick over here that TJ Oshie's middle name is indeed Timothy?
No, he has 2 first names. Timothy.
Right. And that is the fact.
That is unbelievably legit.
And also, we should, after our break, after some deliberation and the confirmation of this not being hokum, congratulations on you telling us that Calgary is really good.
It's okay. You don't have to clap for me.
I'm not gonna clap for Calgary, but I will.
I like it.
I'll
They're
give you the
fun.
props. I'll give you
Johnny
the props.
Goodrow is
I
so
would,
good.
I would like to put kind of a caveat on my great prediction, and that's that I predicated most of it on them getting James Neal. My bad.
Yes. And
I'll own that. I'll own that. James Neal hasn't been that great. He's got maybe 5 or 6 goals, I think. That might be too little. He might have 4. And
Definitely.
you know, Johnny Gaudreau's been a machine. He's now averaging over a point or a goal per game for his career.
Oh my god.
That's how good this season has been for him.
That is insane, actually.
His points per game is ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah, that is insane.
he's skyrocketed. It's been crazy.
That's actually so bad.
Johnny Gaudreau, and this is also the best start that Calgary's had since I believe 86-87,
It's just been a minute.
which is the year they won the cup.
Yeah, but good luck, man. Tampa's
Yeah,
so good.
they're the second best team in the league for a reason.
Right. Because Barry Melrose says it's Tampa's to lose, and I agree, 100%.
Well, kinda. It's been that way for like the past 3 years though.
That's true. They do choke in the playoffs.
Every year.
One thing I look back in
Better
Tampa's
than the Caps.
recent history is like the move, not the move, but
Choking in the playoffs better than Lightning than the Caps.
Oh no, it's way worse for them. I feel so bad because they do it in the 3rd round every year. instead of the second round. I'm like, oh, that's brutal, man. That's gotta hurt.
They get
It's
knocked in
really
the first round.
When
for
they,
years.
when they moved on from Vin Bishop to Vasilevsky, that's when they were like, oh, we're a contender.
Yeah. Ben Bishop is okay. He's pretty good.
He's splitting time in Dallas right now.
Yeah, but I mean, he's okay.
He's good, but Vasilevsky's
Maybe the best.
he's good.
Islanders?
He's top 3.
That's interesting.
Islanders? Yeah.
Islanders.
So-
Question mark?
Odds
Okay,
shark.
I'm mad at the Islanders
Darkest horse.
because they were supposed to lose John Tavares. They were supposed to suck. The Barclays Center was supposed to kick him out, and the Whalers were supposed to come back. But they messed it all up and they're in first place.
Hey man.
Yeah, it's really annoying because they were supposed to go back to the island. Now they're not.
This was going to Saturn.
No. Long Island.
No.
You can't kick out a
Like
first
Long
place
Island.
team.
Like the
Like
long,
Nasha.
like the long.
Like Nassau. Yeah. They're
Um,
supposed to go out there.
here's some fun. Here's something fun that'll cheer up Grayson.
But I'm not done about the Islanders.
Okay.
Just props to
Hold on for a
how
second.
good Barry Trotz has made this team. It's ridiculous.
I agree.
Like, I've thought he's a great coach. I didn't know he was this good.
He's a
I had
beast.
no clue. And it helps that Barzell's been great. It helps that goaltending tandem has been fantastic.
Yeah, Leonard's played
and
really,
that's,
really well.
that's mainly is his name Mitch Korn, who is the goaltending coach? It's Mitch Korn, right? Yeah, Mitch Korn is ridiculous. Ridiculous coach.
This
He's
is for all of you watching at home, all the one person watching at home. Chris Clark is our stat boy today, and hey Chris, how's it going?
Hey.
Yeah, no, Barry Trotz, fantastic.
Yeah.
I actually forgot that he left the Caps after they won the cup.
Yes.
He wanted that money.
Yeah. Money.
He was like, this is boring now. I want to come. Gotta go get a real challenge. Oh, wait, we're first in the Metro.
Where's my challenge?
Yeah.
The real challenge is going to be the Lightning in the
Maybe we'll go to
playoffs.
the Coyotes.
So
I get so mad at people who are like, they should have traded Tavares like in the midseason to get something for him, like before the trade deadline. Do you think they should have?
Do I think they should have traded Tavares?
Yeah.
No.
Do you think they should have traded Tavares?
No.
Do you think they should have traded Tavares?
just say no.
It's so stupid though, because I hear a lot of people talk about it. And I had this guy. I was talking to this guy who said it. Said that they should have, but he also didn't believe that the Raiders should have traded. Yeah, which is like you can't say one without the other. I think- Well, it's a little bit of a different situation too, because Klimack was never staying.
No. God,
But
no.
John Tavares, it looked like he was gonna.
Yes.
And that's a tough.
I can agree with that.
It's a whole thing. I just think it's an interesting situation. And
Sharks
fun.
were this close.
No, they
And
weren't. They
Speaking,
weren't. They
speaking of
weren't
the
really.
Sharks,
They were the number 2 option of that.
Odd Shark
They could have
has
three.
Odd Shark has San Jose as the number 2 team to win the Stanley Cup
Like,
at plus 750.
their offense has been great. Vlasic's been injured, which kind of has hurt them on the defensive end. And the goaltending's been pretty
How long are you
questionable.
out for?
I don't know. They haven't said. He's been out since January, like 2nd, I think.
Is Carlson playing in the All-Star game?
That goaltending has been. It's funny. Martin Jones has the second most wins in the NHL, but his goals against average is like 2.9 something,
I mean, I really
and
think.
his save percentage is like 0.88 something. That's real.
I really think Martin Jones is probably the most overrated goalie in the NHL. No offense. I mean, he's not top tier. He had a couple good seasons.
He was good in 2016.
Yeah, he had a couple really good seasons. But I don't think he's like God echelon.
I don't think he could stop a brick on the breakaway.
Yeah, we need.
And it's Sharks fans are so funny on Twitter. It's because like Martin Jones will give up a goal, then they're like, "We want Aaron Dell. Start Aaron Dell. Put him in." And then they put in Aaron Dell, and of course he gives up 6 goals because he's a
Right.
backup goaltender. And
Right.
they're like, "Why is Jones not starting this game?"
Yeah, exactly.
And then
Exactly.
they'll be up like 4-0, and they're like, "Oh, like Sharks winning the cup," and then they'll give up like a goal at the end. They're like, "Oh, "We suck."
Yeah,
It's
right.
like, calm down.
It's literally, yeah. Yep, your fan base sounds awesome.
It's so funny to watch on Twitter.
That's how the Yankees fans are all the time about
Right.
Sanchez and Romine.
You want to talk about basketball a little bit?
Yeah, we need to
man,
we need
finally?
to we need to pour one out for Vic Depot.
I don't want to talk
That
about it. We lost the second best shooting guard in basketball to a season-ending injury.
Yeah, it's a rip, man. And,
That is a
and
definite rip.
I felt bad for him. That's why I tweeted it out. I had to
Yeah.
dive into my beer.
I respected it.
He-
Did you pour out the whole thing? Did you finish the rest, or?
I've poured out half of it, finished the rest.
Okay, understandable.
You know,
I like that tweet.
commemoration.
What was it?
It was me.
I'll pull it up.
Yeah,
I saw it, but what were you drinking?
Oh,
was a
Bud
Bud
Light.
Light.
Unfortunately.
It was funny because I could smell
Hey,
it.
man,
It's
I
not
love
worth
Bud
it.
Light.
It's not
It's not
I
worth
could
it.
actually,
It's not worth the waste.
I could
time.
actually smell it. Was the really funny part.
I love it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shouldn't have
nice.
wasted
Hell
any
yeah.
of it. I love you, Depot, but not that
Yeah,
much.
I don't know. It's gonna mess up All-Star ballots a little bit just because the backcourt in the East is a little bit weak, and Depot was the only like shoe in there.
All I'm
Aside
saying.
from I guess Brad Beal, but
All
it's
I'm
gonna
saying.
JJ Redick might make the All-Star team. Man.
Yeah, I was
That's
gonna say,
exciting.
Brad
Give
Beal's
me-
not going to start.
Give me.
Kyrie's
Bradley Beal's gonna
Kyrie's
start.
gonna
He's
get
literally
votes.
he's literally the best shooting guard in the East
I don't
now.
think he's going to start. Is this your leg?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Kyrie's
Okay.
gonna get
Kyrie's
votes.
gonna get votes.
Yeah, Kyrie's gonna get votes, but it's just after Kyrie and Beal and Depot, it's pretty rough in terms of depth in the East.
Somebody put James Harden
What?
exclamation point. What does that mean?
'Cause he's freaking
gee, I
awesome.
wonder. So let's see. Over his last 5 games, he scored 57, 58, and 61.
He's not the MVP yet, but
Uh,
he should be. No, dude.
I've-
No way.
I feel like so. Here's the thing. It's like when you start doing
Giannis.
stuff where you got to put you in conversation with Wilt
Giannis.
Chamberlain, except the year is 2019 and not like 1964.
Well, no, you have to put him in a conversation with Wilt Chamberlain, Wilt Chamberlain, Wilt Chamberlain, Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan,
Michael
Wilt
Jordan.
Chamberlain.
Yeah.
That's good
Yeah.
company.
Yeah, he is on pace to have the 6th highest scoring season in NBA history, I believe.
Points
Yeah.
per game average.
But there's like
Yeah.
But there's like this freak that lives in Milwaukee,
Listen,
Wisconsin.
Giannis is probably like my second best,
They're the
my
number
second
one
favorite
team in
player
the
in
East.
basketball. Yeah, sure, that's
Who's
great.
number one?
My favorite player?
Yeah.
This is a guy who plays in Maryland, likes backpacks. People call him a snake.
Oh, he's talking about Katie.
Yeah.
He
Sorry.
used to.
plays
Play,
in
he
Maryland.
used to. Play,
No, he grew up in Maryland.
Yeah, he plays in California.
He played in Texas.
Yeah, he went to Texas college. I said grew up in Maryland. What do you want from me?
He said plays.
Nah.
It's okay, man. He's gonna look really good in Knicks jersey.
Yeah, honestly, it's gonna be nice. I'm looking forward to
And
it.
I'm gonna look really good in his Knicks jersey.
Yeah.
So-
Now's a good time to mention that.
You're not allowed on the show if you wear it. I'm making an executive decision that you're not allowed on the show if you
Did
walk in
I,
with
did
that
I tell
jersey.
Grayson? Did I tell you about the jersey I nearly bought you?
Yeah, you did.
I found a KD Oklahoma City jersey,
Oh.
but the only thing it was a double XL, so he couldn't have ever worn it. And I was gonna present it to him on the show, and it was gonna be great.
I'm gonna
but
be
it's a little
honest.
too big.
I would probably pay like $200 for a KD Sonics jersey.
Sonics? Oh yeah, yeah, that's tight.
I would pay a lot of money for a KD Sonics jersey.
All right, this is what we want to talk about. James
No.
Harden.
Yeah,
Does
can you
anyone
talk about
wanna
James
that?
Harden? Can you talk about how he's
You're right, you're
literally
right, you're right.
he literally might be the best scoring talent in the NBA since Michael.
Well, the best part about him
Yep.
is that he's literally not even a guard. He's not a brand 1-2. He's a guard. Like he is
Yeah,
just a
he's
guard.
just a
He's
guard.
a merge of both. He
I
knows
love
the ball.
looking at
he
these-
shoots the ball.
If
he
you see
passes
his
the
box
ball.
scores
I
are
love
so
looking at
nutty.
just say
The box scores are hilarious.
for the Rocket. Just like 3 shots, 3 shots, 3 shots, 11 shots, 38 shots. Like he went 5 for 20 from 3.
He's all
at
what,
MSG.
He's all what Russell Westbrook wants to be, but he's better.
Russell Westbrook, if he shot 20, he would make maybe 5.
James Harden had 15 boards and 4 assists last night, and he's a point guard.
That's what I'm saying, dude. He is unlabeled.
It's
He's
incredible.
unlabeled.
Yeah, congratulations. You want to see what position this basketball gives us? It gives us this.
Well, and the best part is that you got D'Antoni, who who just rides the wave.
Yeah.
He just rides the wave, and because he knows he can't do anything else.
There's nothing else for him to do.
That's what I love about him.
I have a question for Ricky.
Play? Yeah, what up?
If Kevin Durant and James Harden are in the same situation, who's a better scorer?
Harden.
Harden's a better scorer than
Yeah,
Durant?
Harden's a better scorer than Durant.
You
It's-
think Harden's a better scorer than Durant?
Wait,
Yeah.
the same situation. What's the situation?
Same
It
team?
applies.
Talking about the same team?
Kevin Durant's in Golden State and doesn't have to drop 60 a night?
No, I
no,
know,
no.
but you said same situation, so you're saying like put KD on Houston?
No. I'm talking about. Are we at the half court and they got pulled up for a shot, or are they crashing?
Kevin Durant's
Goal.
a better 3-point shooter.
I'm talking
than
about
James
like
Yeah.
if Kevin Durant needs to carry the scoring load like James Harden does, who's the better scorer? Kevin Durant or
It's
James
Harden. It's definitely Harden for me, just because Harden can
'Cause he
create his
does
own.
it.
Harden can create his
Yeah.
own shot on like any player I've ever seen in my
So
entire
can
life.
Durant.
No, that's the thing is Durant's ability to create his own shot is vastly different than Harden's.
That's because Durant just shoots over whenever he
works.
wants.
That's the
Yeah.
thing, like, he works
Not that he's 7
hard, but
foot.
James Harden works hard.
James-
like
Do you know how many? So
his first of all,
Okay,
did
no,
you
no.
see the stat that it was
the
like
night that Clay scored 44, James Harden had 37, and none of his buckets were assisted.
right, all unassisted basketball. But on top of that, his step back percentage this year has gone up 100%.
It's like he's shooting,
It
I
is-
think, 42% on step back threes.
It is ridiculous because last year he only shot like he shot below 10 on the season for step back threes. Now all of a sudden he's like that's all he worked on over the summer, and it has skyrocketed plus 95%.
He's also shooting something like 16 threes a game since Chris Paul has gone out and Capella's
Yeah,
been
you know,
out.
he takes 2 generous steps to get there, but
I don't want to.
So you're saying what, James Harden's the best scorer in the NBA?
I think so.
As
yeah.
of right now,
I think
I-
so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Just wanted to know.
So
I just think it's because of his ability to create
Just
his own
wanna know.
shot.
basketball is another sport where it's you sort of look at statistics from the past to like figure out who are it's
Yeah,
a decent
okay,
sport.
okay.
I mean, it's better than football.
Yeah,
It's
that's
better
for
than
sure.
soccer. It's better than hockey. Yeah, because the points adjust. Yeah, goal scoring is very different now than it was in 1982, and that's a fact. But it's useful for looking back and like looking at your players from your favorite eras, looking at your favorite players from a team, and then I was just looking at some stats the other day, and I was like, man, who is the best Bull? Like, if it's not Jordan, who is it? And I think it might be Melo.
For what?
What?
Best Chicago Bull.
Okay.
Carmelo Anthony?
Yeah, probably.
He never played for the Bull. Oh, because he only played there for 24 hours. Not even.
Wasn't a full 24.
It might have been a full 24 minutes, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be more minutes than he's
Did
played in a game.
Do you
in the
guys see
last
that sign
2 years.
out of their stadium?
Yeah, like it
That
was
was awesome.
welcome Melo.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not even worth it.
Man, he's
I
played
just-
for the Hawks
Stephen
and
A.
the,
wants-
and the Bulls.
Stephen A. wants him on the Lakers.
I think that's where he's gonna end up.
There's actually a lot of
from,
talk about
from
that.
what I've read is
That's-
that because he's a banana boat boy.
That is such a garbage fit.
He's a banana boat boy,
Such a bad fit.
and
What do you mean by that? Explain it.
so the picture.
Yeah, you don't see the banana boat?
Yeah.
LeBron
The
James,
picture of
Dwayne
LeBron
Wade,
James.
Carmelo Anthony, and Chris
D-Wade,
Paul
Chris
on a banana boat.
In like Italy or wherever, and so they're called the banana boats.
Yeah, they call it the banana
That's
boat.
amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So of course Carmelo Anthony wants to play with LeBron James, just like Chris Paul wanted to play with LeBron James for the longest time.
Just like Dwayne Wade wanted to play with LeBron James twice.
Hey man,
Listen, he's fine.
Dwayne Wade's the greatest shot blocking shooting guard of all time. So, and he's my favorite.
Yeah.
He's my man crush every day, aside from Luka.
Yeah, I was about to say,
All
man.
respect to Luka Doncic.
Who's your rookie of the year so far?
Oh, gee, I
Is
wonder.
that even a question?
I don't feel like it is.
Let me just put it to you this way, okay? I was jealous of DeAndre Jordan of all people because his phone got hacked by Luka with all those selfies. Okay, I need that man in my life.
Oh, man.
He's the only reason to watch
Oh.
Dallas anything.
Hey, hey, hey.
Did you see him rip his jersey?
Go Stars.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
so majestic.
I wish that I could have been the jersey.
Ooh.
Rip me in half, Poppy, please.
This is definitely
So
what I
it's
came
7
here for.
o'clock.
The Western Conference race.
All right, go ahead.
The
We started a few
Warriors,
minutes
Warriors
later.
are finally back on top. They
The
did it.
Nuggets are 2 games
They
behind.
stopped
My Nuggets are right there.
Yeah,
Your
they
Your
were
Nuggets are quite the handful.
they were right here, and now they're right here.
And I feel like it's going to be that way. It's going to ebb and flow.
Don't think so. Klay Thompson's not shooting 31% from
Yeah,
three
man.
anymore.
Well, the Nuggets have always been the best team.
You know what? No.
They're just a handful on both sides of the ball.
I mean, listen, the Nuggets are fantastic, and I'm really excited that they're finally getting it together.
They're fun to watch.
They're fun to dip in barbecue sauce.
That I don't shut up. I
Can you
don't
turn
think
his mic down for me?
I love. No, hold on. I need to give some love to Jamal Murray, man. Come
Yeah,
on.
no. So the Jamal Murray respect, his glow up has been fantastic
Yeah,
because he's
Jamal Murray.
finally getting realized as the ideal number. He's like a combo guard for them, right?
He's a combo guard. He plays. It's so funny too because he played like the same position at Kentucky too.
Yeah.
Like it was. It's really interesting to watch how how Coach Malone has really put them into.
Oh, that's what I should have put in the notes.
It's just it's been really fun to watch them play. It's been really fun to watch the Joker play, obviously.
he's a little good.
And Isaiah
Yeah.
Thomas comes back in a month or two.
Yeah,
so
that's gonna be interesting.
gonna really
we'll
make the
see-
team
we'll
better.
see how that happens.
we get
How
to
that
do,
goes.
We get to do this again.
Hey man, the hip flex run forever.
Remember how much money he almost made?
Yeah, the Brinks truck got
He's
robbed on the
he's
highway
such a
before he got there.
bum, dude.
Man, leave Isaiah Thomas alone.
Isaiah Thomas tried to pick a fight with Kevin Love.
Yeah,
Over
sure.
mental health. Like get the hell
I
out
mean,
of here.
that's bum. That's a bum thing to do, but
IT to the Bucks.
IT to the Bucks.
No.
I think that the NBA season has now turned into something that is way more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I was really disillusioned
Specific-
coming into the year.
specifically, like-
and now I'm trying to
yeah.
get back into it. And it's
oh, by the
kind
way,
of fun.
Boogie's back.
Yeah. Yeah,
We forgot.
that hammer jam on the pick and roll. Oh,
Yo.
my
What did he say after
When
the
they
game?
invert that,
Like-
I gotta.
He said we're winning all the things. or
No.
something along that
No.
line.
The interviewer was like,
Oh,
"How did you
it's
feel
the
about
It's the
yeah?"
fakest love I've ever seen in my entire life. I
He's like,
don't
"How
know
did
if
you
Stephen
feel
King
about
did
like
it,
your
yeah.
warm welcome?" He's like,
Yeah.
"It's the fakest love I've ever seen."
What?
It was really funny. He's not gonna be there next year, but still, it's
no,
really funny.
he's gonna sign for the Max with like a Miami.
Yeah,
or
no, he's
whatever.
gonna be in Miami, so it's gonna be great. No, what
I really miss him in New Orleans. It was so much fun playing two centers.
He-
Him and Anthony Davis.
No,
was
you
so
know
much
what's gonna
fun.
be great?
Oh, I loved it.
AD's gonna sign with LA, right? And then Boogie's gonna just go back to New Orleans. That'd be cool.
I'm gonna
I'd be
might-
cool with that.
Would he get a warm welcome though?
In New Orleans, it's not his fault that he left. I mean, he got hurt.
He tore his Achilles, and he had to go sign somewhere else. I need a cold shower running for every Warriors playoff game because if they ever run an inverted KD Boogie pick and roll, I need to take a break.
Because that's the Death Star, man.
That is. I'm sorry. No, it's not the Death Star because there's no exhaust ports on that.
Just enjoy
there's
it now
literally-
because next year it's just gonna be Steph and Dre.
There's literally not a team in basketball that could reasonably cover that.
All right.
Not even.
Let's call it.
Unless,
No,
unless
wait,
you want,
wait,
unless
wait.
you want a fantasy
Oh my
of an
goodness,
all-star
hurry
team.
up.
No,
NASCAR
one more
fact.
thing. No, wait,
NASCAR
Oh,
fact.
NASCAR fact.
No,
NASCAR
positionless
fact.
basketball. Justice Winslow, Devin Booker playing point guard for their respective teams and looking fantastic doing it. I'm finally, it's getting realized.
I'll
We're
give
doing
you.
it, guys.
I'll give you the
We're doing
okay.
it.
He's
You got
getting an okay emoji
We're
on this
doing it.
one.
All right, go
But
ahead.
we need a NASCAR fact.
Yeah.
So before
He forgot his.
No. Before last show, Ryan Newman signed with Jack Rouse.
Yeah, I remember.
Come drive to Ford. And that's not the fact. That's just the setup. The fact is he's going to be sponsored by Oscar Mayer, and his car is awesome. It has hot dogs on it.
What?
What?
Oh my god.
Is it actually?
What?
Wow.
His car has many hot dogs on it.
It says hot dogs.
So
He's
the
gonna
fact
be-
is that this is the coolest car in NASCAR.
Yeah,
He's
that's not
gonna
even
be
close,
a big
actually.
wiener.
Oh,
All right.
What's his
slide
name
him
one more
down,
time?
slide
Ryan
him down
Newman?
and shut it off.
Ryan Newman.
Ryan Newman.
Slide him down. and shut it
Ryan
off.
Newman
We're done here,
My
guys.
favorite
in the
thing.
wiener circle.
We're on a
Hey,
167-hour break.
you know,
See you
shout
guys
out,
next week.
shout out to Tim Howard. We love you.
We do love Tim Howard. Rest in peace.
We stand